Good morning, everybody. Hi, and welcome. Welcome to the live Monday show. I hope everybody is doing well. Things have improved dramatically here in Northern Nevada, or I guess I'm in Northwest Nevada. The smoke from the California fires was really, really bad, and it is finally better. It was just terrible. So, anyway, I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Today is, as you know, it's a new sprint. It is sprint planning day. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about how to break down your work so that you can do better estimating. And the reason why you want to do that is because um, you don't want to overcommit your sprints. It makes your life miserable, right? Because then you're always trying to catch up. You're in this constant stage of catch up, of feeling behind, of feeling overwhelmed. And so today I wanted to talk to you guys about breaking that work down and then creating some accurate estimates so that you can better plan your sprints. So be sure to say hi when you come on. I'm hoping I'm live. I'm going to just double check here to make sure. It says the video is live now, but it's not showing it. I know Facebook has a bug right now, so if you can't see me, then okay, here I am. I see myself now. Okay, so good morning, Becky. Good morning. I hope that you had a great weekend. I hope you're ready to dig in and start getting going on your projects and on your business because it is, oh, good. I'm glad you see me, Becky, because I don't want you to waste another moment of 2020. We are almost to Q4, you guys. What were your plans? What were your plans for 2020? I don't want you to miss out on those and miss your mark, and miss those goals. I want you to make those goals happen for yourself. And so today I'm going to talk about how you can stop overcommitting your sprints so that you can get things done. And one of the tools to do that with is a work breakdown and creating estimates. And Zara, I'm glad you're here today because I was going to use your situation as an example today. So added bonus, I guess, a bonus training. So um, anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. Be sure to say hi when you come on, and let's get started. So today we're going to talk about work breakdown and estimating. And I'm going to just show you kind of how we do things in the IT world. And it's really the same exact thing that you should be doing as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I just have this handy little visual that I created for you guys. Um, so what you want to do when you break down your work is the very first thing you have to do is you have to look at the entire project. You have to look at the entire project and just start, writing all the things down, all the different things that you need to do. And so you just write down all the major components. Don't worry about tasks yet, right? Don't worry about a task yet. Just write down all the major components of what you need to do. And then we'll start breaking those things down. So let's start with an example of building a website. Zara, I know that you are working on building out your website. And so I thought it would be a good way for me to show you exactly how you can break things down. So when you have a completed website, and basically your bare minimum of what you want on your website would not just be an informational website with no way for people to contact you, right? You want to have a way for people to opt in. And so you need to be able to collect email addresses. You're going to need to be able to create an opt-in form. You're going to need a welcome email automation, and then your web page. So you might not be able to do all that in one sprint, right? So let's just further break those things down. And I want to go through two examples with you because I wrote down one of just focusing on the web page piece. But I wanted to just make a suggestion to you guys who are starting to build a brand new website. One of the best ways that you can do, or one of the things you should consider, I suppose, when you're going to build a website is to first create that opt-in freebie. You create that opt-in freebie and your welcome email automation and your opt-in form, and then just create a one-page coming soon, right, type of web page. So you could have a really good photo of yourself, or just a nice photo that's nice to look at, and you just put in there, hey, we're building something great for you. But in the meantime, why don't you sign up for my opt-in freebie, and we'll let you know as soon as our website is published, something like that, right? And so you can already start with social media, start driving people to that website to opt into your freebie while you're building out the rest of your page. So that's one thing to consider when you're building out your website. So what do you need to do? You need to come up with an opt-in freebie, right? And honestly, like why even have your website up and running if it's doing nothing, right? So you want to always have that opt-in freebie first and foremost as you build out your website. So now we're going to look at what is required for those main components to be completed, right? So for our example of building a website, you want to create that freebie, and that might even be a little bit of a sub project, right? So that might take you a whole entire sprint to just create that opt-in freebie. And then, but you still, we're seeing your, sorry, blah. The creating the freebie is still very high level, right? There's not a lot of detail there about what needs to be done. But that's okay, because we're just trying to break down everything, right? So we're starting from the top, the high level, and we're breaking things down. So we want to create a freebie. We want to create an opt-in form. We want to create a thank you for that opt-in. We want to create a welcome email automation sequence. And then create a freebie email. If you guys know how I operate with workflows, you know that the way you can be more efficient when you build out your email campaigns for a freebie is two things. One is you have, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. One, you have an email sequence that's a normal generic welcome email sequence, has nothing to do with any of your freebies, right? It's just a generic welcome email sequence. And then when people opt into just to your regular standard subscribe to my email list, they get that week welcome sequence. But when they opt into a freebie, you have a separate automation that gives them the email that says, hey, great, hi, and here's your freebie, right? And then after they get that email, then you load them into the other automation and put them through the regular welcome sequence. Do you see how that's more efficient? Because now you just create one email for each one of your freebies that gives them the link to the freebie, or helps them download that freebie or whatever. And then you put them all through the same welcome sequence. So you don't have to build multiple welcome sequences, just one. And then you have your opt-in freebies just kind of feeding into that welcome sequence, right, after they get their email. So anyway, that's a side note, but I just thought you might like that. I thought that might be helpful to you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll get back to this. Okay, so now we've broken it down to these major components, right? Creating the freebie, the opt-in, the thank you, the welcome automation, the freebie email, and then create the website on your desired platform, and create the web page sections. Okay, so now we're going to go even further into more detail. So we're going to look at one of those subcomponents, creating the web page sections. right? There's some sections, right? You want to have your main section that has your opt-in, that's got your hook statement and the little supporting paragraph, the one that says, hey, are you struggling with blah, 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 right? Um, are you struggling with creating great photography for your website? Something like that, right? Are you struggling to, make beautiful images for your website? Are you struggling with whatever, right? And then you have an about section, and then you have a testimonial section and a contact us section. Now, this isn't a training on how to build a website necessarily, so there might be other sections you want to put in there if you want to do some research on that. But I'm just trying to show you how to break these things down. So you break them down into these things. So now your opt-in section, the very first top above the fold, you're going to need to create some sort of an image. You need a hook statement. You need a supporting paragraph. And then you're going to have your opt-in and all that stuff too, right? So you've broken the opt-in piece down as well, and that's what you would want to do for all of these sections, right? But I'm just taking one section here. And then your about section, again, you're going to need to do some sort of a photo session, right? So you have some good photos of yourself. You have some good photos of, your lifestyle or whatever kind of thing that you are sort of promoting on your website, right? Remember, if you're like a life coach, or if you're, like promoting your entrepreneur life and all that, that you're also selling lifestyle. So you want to have some images of your lifestyle and, how you have this life of freedom, right? I know I shouldn't laugh. I know it feels like a farce sometimes, but I'm still working the 9 to 5. So I'm still working a lot, and someday I won't be, I hope. So maybe I'll be living that dream at some point, right? Okay. So anyway, then the next section would be your testimonials. And so you want to contact some of your previous customers and try to get some testimonials. So that's a thing, right, that you need to do. Creating images is a thing. Creating a hook statement or writing a hook statement is an actual task, right? Because tasks have action words in them, right? Tasks have action words. And so you want to make sure that it has those action words, because it kind of helps you know what you're doing. I shouldn't even say create here. I should say write hook statement, write supporting paragraph. And you might even have some more detailed tasks in there, which would be do research on other people's hook statements, other people's, supporting paragraph, all those things, right? And then, formats of testimonials that other people are using. You might have some research or something like that to do. You also want to try to gather images for people for your testimonials, right? So you want to not only gather images of your contributor, but then you want to put them in Canva, make them look nice, make them all kind of uniform. So, maybe they're all in a little circle, type of graphic or something like that. And then you have a contact us section, which usually is pretty easy to do. It's, you're going to create that form. You're going to write the script to invite them to contact you, and determine what email form your forms will be sent to when somebody completes that form. Of course, you have to test it and all those things. So the more detailed you get, guys, the more the easier it will be to estimate. And that's what we're going to last here, is estimating. Now that you have things broken down into these smaller tasks, it's easier to estimate. So I just start estimating. How long do I think it'll take for me to create this image? Well, it might take an hour. I mean, I doubt it, but okay, let's give ourselves an hour. Then create the hook statement. Might take me 30 minutes. Creating my supporting paragraph might take me 30 minutes. Doing a photo session could take a couple of hours. Creating images from photos, another hour. Writing a bio, another hour. Writing how I help them, right? Because your about section isn't really about you. It's kind of about them and how you help them, right? And so that might take you an hour to craft that, or might it take you longer. But the point is that you want to get some sort of estimate down for each and everything. And it's okay if you're not completely accurate yet. The point is that you want to create that estimate, then book out your sprint. And remember the rule of thumb, booking out that sprint at 75% of your time, not 100% of your time, because then you're going to be at 125 or more of your time if you because you're going to overbook yourself, right? So you want to just start estimating, build out your sprint, and then when you do these things, kind of track how long it's taking you. You kind of know. I mean, you don't have to necessarily time yourself. I mean, if you want to and be that accurate, you could, but you don't have to necessarily time yourself. You just kind of know, did it take longer than an hour or shorter than an hour? Did it take more than 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes? And you kind of have these milestones, right? That you're like, an hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, And so then you start thinking about things in terms of their relationship to other things, right? Their relationship to other things. So you have other activities that you do that you kind of know how long it takes, right? So then you look at that activity and you think, okay, so creating or doing this new task, does it seem bigger than that task or smaller than that task? Will it take me more time than that task or less? And that's how you can start improving at estimating. So you're always kind of using something else as your bar, right? That you're comparing against. And that will help you improve on estimating. And I guarantee you guys, when you improve on estimating, your sprints are going to be so much easier to manage. You're going to have, just not so many incidences where you're completely overbooked. Then you're overwhelmed by the end of your sprint trying to get everything done. So really take this sprint to really work on your estimating. You don't have to take on the world every single sprint and try to do everything perfect. Let's just focus on this one skill. This sprint is learning how to estimate and paying attention to how long things take, so you have those comparisons that you can start using for the future when you make estimates. So don't get yourself, too wrapped up into trying to estimate, exactly how many minutes. Just use those things. Is it, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or more than 2 hours? You kind of got to, just use that as your gauge and get started, right? Because how many of you are actually creating estimates? I mean, raise your hand if you're not currently creating estimates and you're committing to doing that this sprint. Post it in the comments. I want to see it. I want to see some fire that you're committed to helping yourself learn how to make good estimates by breaking down things from the top down. Remember, as I recap here, we start with the larger project. We write down all the main components, then start breaking down each one of those components into smaller and smaller tasks until you think, okay, now I know how long it's going to take me to do that task. And then you just have that collection of all those little tasks that take you 15 minutes here, 30 minutes here, an hour there, whatever. And now you've estimated everything and you know that that project is going to take you X amount of hours. Maybe it's 40 hours. Maybe it is 60 hours. Maybe it's a 3-month project. But the point is, it's not about like trying to please yourself and say, oh, I can get this done this sprint, right? The point is to be realistic so that you can plan. If you know that something's going to take you, 60 hours of work and you only put in 20 hours a week and you have other things to do too, well, it's probably going to take you 3 or 4 sprints to complete the entire project. And that's okay, because the idea is it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So you want to remember what I always talk about with sprint planning is you have your 3 components. You have all your daily tasks, then how can you improve on those to create efficiencies? And that's then your continuous improvement piece, right? How do you create efficiencies in those daily tasks so that you can make room for your projects? So if you currently have so much on your plate with your day-to-day work, then before you even take on a project and fool yourself into thinking you'll make progress on it, work on creating those efficiencies in your day-to-day work. How do you do that? By creating cheat sheets and templates and workflows and processes, right? You create those things so that you can take some of the brain work out of doing the things that you do. For example, if you have a process that you do each and every week, like, for example, your social media posting, if you're struggling to do that every single week and you're just kind of floundering and you're random and everything like that, then take the time to start building out a workflow for yourself so that you can be more efficient and batch your work and things like that, right? Excuse me. Having some morning tea. My morning cleanse drink, actually. Okay, so you want to start building in those efficiencies, right? And so, by the way, if you're not in the social media, the Take Charge of Your Social Media Marketing Project in the Scrum Boss Accountability Group, I highly, highly recommend you be there and you get in on this project, because I'm releasing Unit 3 this week, and that's really where we're going to get into this workflow piece and how you're going to process your work, right? We've talked about in that group, we've talked about in Unit 1, we talked about the concepts and all that. In Unit 2, we talked about the mechanics and getting your infrastructure set up. And now we're going to really talk about how you're going to flow work through in Unit 3. And so I'm really excited, you guys, because this is like, I've been working on it myself, and I can't believe how much easier it is and how much quicker it's going to be. So if you're not in on that project, you need to get in on that project. And if you have any friends that you know that would benefit from getting into this Take Charge of Your Social Media Marketing Project, then please, by all means, send them the link to get in. And I'm going to just post that in here. The Scrum Boss Accountability Group. Let me post it right here. You can just send them that link and let them know that it is completely free for members of the accountability group. And so I would appreciate all your support. If you send your friends my way, anybody you know who is really struggling with their social media marketing and managing that, because you know as well as I do, that's a huge undertaking, but it is such an important part of your project. And of your business. And I can't even believe that, like, as I'm going through this, I'm realizing, man, I have been doing a disservice to my business, not doing this on a regular basis and being consistent. And so I want you guys to start out of the gate being consistent with your marketing. And I'm building this way for it to be manageable for you. And so I'm really excited, and I hope you guys will really jump in and get going on it. If they haven't taken your Scrum, yes, they can, because that's the other thing is I'm having my boot camp on October 5th. So that's coming up. It's right around the corner, so they can start taking this, and then they would be able to catch right up with the boot camp. And also they get access to my Boss Productivity System if they join the membership site. So they have all those lessons that are pretty much basically my boot camp. So if you haven't gone in there, all of you guys who are in my group, if you haven't gone in there and downloaded that, you can have it. It's in writing. It's about 60 pages or something total, but it gives you that whole basic, the boot camp strategy that I have. Okay, so now I want to just post my boot camp, because if you're not registered for my boot camp, you got to get registered because it's coming October 5th. And guys, this is my last boot camp of 2020. I'm not doing any more this year. So if you need to get going on your productivity, if you need to learn better time management and keep your sanity and your life, the 5-day boot camp is where it's at. You guys who have taken it before know it's a real game changer, and perhaps you need a refresher. So join in on the fun. You know how it is. It's such a good boot camp, and it's really fun and exciting to watch all the aha moments. Okay, so one last thing on your estimating is, if you are unsure of your estimates still after breaking everything down, then give yourself an hour to do something. Just give yourself an hour. That's a good starting point, right? And then you can determine, did it take longer or shorter? But if you're like looking at an hour and you're like, there's no way I can get this done in 1 hour, then give yourself 2. And if you're still saying there's no way, then give yourself 3. You know, it's not that bad, but you just got to give yourself the time so that you're completely self-aware of how long things take you, and you don't overbook your sprint. You don't want to do that. Oh, hi, Chris. Good to see you. Okay, so that is my spiel today. So breaking down all of your work, break down those projects, make room for projects by creating efficiencies in your day-to-day work so you have time for those projects, because you know as well as I do, the day-to-day work is not really going to grow your business to the next level. It's the projects that are going to do it, right? The projects. So break down those tasks. Don't overbook yourself. Join my social media marketing course, because that is going to help you. My goal is to do all my social media marketing in 5 hours or less per week. That's about 25% of the time I put into my business each and every week. And so that is my goal. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. And I hope that you guys will participate in that project. Okay? And please invite a friend to the boot camp. And, because it's way more fun with friends, and it's really fun to see everybody getting excited about their projects for their business. And it's my last boot camp of the quarter, and it's the last quarter of 2020. You don't want to get to the end of 2020 and not have made your goals. So commit right now to making your goal for 2020. Let's do this. I got you. We're going to make it efficient, and we're going to make it easier. And it's still going to be a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. But remember what we do. We do it sprint by sprint, project by project, quarter by quarter. And by the end of a year, you're going to be so much farther ahead than you are today. So let's do this together, guys. All right. Okay. So have a great weekend. Have a great week. And for those of you Scrum bosses, I'll see you in the meeting this afternoon. For those of you in the accountability group, I'll be posting later on some more information on Unit 3 and its time frame. So, and it will be out this week. I'm just running a bit behind because I had a huge aha moment this weekend, and I had to redo some of my stuff. So I had to actually redo some of my content because I'm like, oh my gosh, I was going the wrong way. So I'm redoing it today. And so I'm really looking forward to you guys getting it, because I had an aha moment myself, like a stroke of brilliance, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to redo this. So we're going to do that. I'm really excited, guys. All right. So have a great week, and I will see you in the comments.